So the three accused have been nabbed in a matter of 24 hours. After a brief encounter that broke out, the three are now in custody. I want to bring in on this broadcast now Chinmay Sripada, very popular singer and a Chennaiite, importantly, someone who's lived in Tamil Nadu all of her life almost. Chinmay, thank you for joining us. You know, this incident, and we've been reporting on it for the last 24 hours, it sent shivers down my spine that something like this could happen in a city like Coimbatore that's actually deemed one of the safest, if you ask me, in Tamil Nadu.
I most definitely agree. I have lived most of my life here in Tamil Nadu, in Chennai, and Coimbatore is also a place like I call a second home. And I find this deeply disturbing and shocking that it has happened in a place like Tamil Nadu, which is known historically to be a safe place. However, I think in recent times, one of my biggest things that I have been noticing, especially in this particular case, and how to chatter on social media is happening right now, is there is a lot of victim blaming. There are a lot of men asking, what was she wearing? What was she doing? Why was
Yeah.
she alone? If she was out with a friend, no matter how late and at what time, it is also the one thing that we need to keep repeating is that in a case of sexual assault and sexual abuse, it is the fault of the perpetrator and not that of the victim. And it is insanely horrendous that in 2025 we have to continue to be having these conversations and repeating this from our side, to say that this is, shift the blame, shift the questions to where it should be, and then making this about political points between one party versus the other, because in general across the country the safety of women and children has always been at stake, especially in Tamil Nadu after the murder of this girl that happened in Chennai city in Nungambakam, where cameras were supposed to have been installed in all of these train stations and bus stations and things like that. I don't know how many stations and MRTS stations have
Yeah.
functional working CCTV cameras. And one of the biggest melees that we see in public transport and in areas of public transport like bus stands and train stations is men having episodes of exhibitionism, of men flashing. There are so many women who have reported this, and it is a good thing. One good thing that I would say is that people are reporting these crimes.
Yeah.
At least that's the only good thing that I see from this horror.
You know, you're right that it should naturally come to us to only blame the accused. But even in this case, Chinmay, we saw a lot of victim shaming. Why was she out late in the night? Why was she alone with a male friend? Why were they in a parked vehicle behind the airport? It's honestly none of our business. You know, a crime shouldn't happen, and if it happens, the finger should be pointed only one direction at the accused. It's unfortunate that we see any kind of narrative besides that being spread at all on social media. Maybe that really is the problem. That mindset that allows people to go ahead and commit such crimes and think, you know, it's okay that she asked for
Absolutely.
it.
I don't think much has changed since the Nirbhaya case to now.
Chinmay, I want to ask you, as someone, you know, who's lived in Chennai for so many years, there's a lot of chatter that, you know, Chennai, Tamil Nadu has become a lot more unsafe for women. What do you think?
I think overall across the country, we are seeing a rise in cases, but I would also like to believe that perhaps not only see, we have been flagging this sort of a change in behavior for the past a decade and a half, that there is a rise in violence against women and children and people from underprivileged sections of society. And the violence is verbal. What is verbal on social media? People are going out on a limb and actually writing all of this on social media under their own names. This will have to spill out on the streets, and we have been seeing that as a trend in the past. I think ever since the Nirbhaya case itself, even then, the victim was blamed. What was she wearing? Why was she out at night? Why was she alone with a friend? The questions have not changed in 15 years
Yeah.
or 20 years or how many give and take in India, north to south. So this entire thing has one state become more unsafe, or has this place become more unsafe? I would say that it has become unsafe over the past several years, also with the rise in AI generated pornographic content, morphed content that is becoming really, really horrendous, with a lot of, all of these really horrendous ideas of pornography that people are creating, especially with regard to brutalization, that is gaining a lot of followership on social media. And this is a trend that people are not watching, the authorities are not watching. And when we flag it, we are called whiners, we are called we have the victim card, right?
Yeah.
As if these are these cards that we can just use at any ATM machine and withdraw money.
Terrible.
So
Yeah.
this is the sort of a thing that we see as chatter, and this is horrible, because more and more the survivors and victims of such violent sexual crimes are becoming younger, and the perpetrators are also becoming younger across the country. If you
Mhm.
notice, a number minor boys under the age of 15 who are getting arrested for brutal gang rapes is becoming more. And now I am worried, because the number of cases of gang rape are becoming more. We don't know how many actual rapes are going under the radar, because it's not sensational enough, or
Yeah.
how many adult women are actually. There was a case a few months ago in Tamil Nadu where we had to there was this survivor of gang rape who was shunted from one police station to another to just lodge a complaint.
Yeah.
And this became a problem. She was running a pillar to post for justice. These cases also need follow-ups, and we need to
Very true.
sensitize the fact that a lot of this behavior, both online and offline, is not acceptable. ICCs and POCSOs should happen, gender sensitization, and what is the right way of talking. From there, verbal violence to physical violence is a very, very short distance. We need to cut all of that, and education, I think, is very important.
Awareness, education, and I think just a basic change in mindset, which unfortunately hasn't happened despite so many years going on after the Nirbhaya case. We're seeing what many are referring to as a rerun of something similar that's happened in a city that's very often deemed one of the safest in the country. And so that itself should ring alarm bells. Thanks very much, Chinmayi, for joining us. We appreciate your time, especially as someone who's also been brave enough to speak out, against these kind of crimes, this kind of violence, and so giving strength to so many more women out there also to speak up. We should highlight here that the Tamil Nadu police has done a great job in ensuring that they've identified, nabbed the accused. But at the same time, we must also ensure that in every single case that comes to the fore like this, we see a similar crackdown and therefore a deterrent, and people think twice before committing these kind of crimes.